Well, the ISUBK coming out of 1 West on 25th Street, Harlem. This is one thing that I've been noticing, I've been noticing this for quite some time. But blacks that are so-called, they call themselves, that actually portion themselves among the successful blacks, they have a nerve to want to talk bad, about, black people that they call the thug, the ones that, seemingly uneducated or whatever the case is, right? But what they don't understand is it's going to actually be the thug, that so-called thug, is what the Most High is actually raising up in this time. You see what I'm saying? That so-called thug, the one that they counted out, right? The one that sagged his pants, the one that did, and there is another thing about those so-called successful Negroes. They take on the mind of the white man so badly, so much so to where it's a big old thing now where they keep talking about, how women love the thugs. Women love the thug niggas. Women love it. And what are they doing? What they're actually doing is developing a hatred for that black man that they call a thug. They're doing just like white people, but they're doing it under the false pretense that they're caring about blacks. They're deceiving themselves is what they're actually really doing for real. Right. Because some of them actually really think that they're actually, trying to help black people out, and they're not. Right. Now think about it for a second. Now, I see, all of these people on the, YouTube coming out with all of these different videos talking about how black women like the thug man and such and such. Let that thug man have his goddamn woman. Well, you are actually being worse than that thug man because you're being covetous and you're thinking like the white man. You know what I'm saying? You thinking like the white man because the white man doesn't want to see the black man with anything that he figures that he should have himself. You see what I'm saying? That's the same mentality that these so-called successful Negroes take on. They take on that mindset, and just like what General Yohana was talking about in the grill when he was mentioning the Cosby Show, right? That shows like the Cosby Show, World, and those were mentioned in the grill, but my own addition to that is Fresh Prince of BelAir. That was another pathetic damn show because they'll have Carlton on there. There was an episode where Carlton was trying to get into black fraternity, and the black fraternity didn't want Carlton in the black fraternity because they said that he was acting white. Right? Now, that's their right to have a black fraternity and not want black people in it that are pleasing to white people. I mean, damn, that's natural. You got a Chinese fraternity, what they gonna want in that? They're gonna want people that are pro-China. They're not gonna want people that are something else, that are pretending to be something else while getting among your group and trying to leaven that among your whole damn group. This is one thing that people don't understand. This is one thing that these so-called successful Negroes do not understand. Because they got the mind of the white man. Just like what Bill Cosby had in the Cosby Show. Right. That was the mind of the white man right there. Negroes modeling themselves after white families. You see what I'm saying? And that's one thing that the Lord does not want us doing that garbage. That's what created the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Because what did they want to be? They wanted to be Romans. The Pharisees and the Sadducees, what did they do? They started taking their own culture, be their Negro, Hebrew culture, and mingling it with the Romans. Right. You see what I'm saying? And when the rubber met the road, when they was talking about, crucifying Christ, they was like, we got to get rid of him unless the Romans are going to come down and take what we got. Which is the same damn thing that happened in ancient Egypt. When they talk about the taskmasters, when they started to beat the taskmasters, it was the same damn thing. These so-called successful Negroes are the taskmasters. Now, let me break out something else to you. As far as with that, with Carlton in that, right? With Carlton in that show, Fresh Prince of BelAir, right? Now, Carlton will seem like a dude that had it all going for him, right? And he seemed like the type of dude that would wind up, if he didn't make it into entertainment or whatever, he might be on Wall Street or something, right? But say his Wall Street dreams fail, and he don't end up on Wall Street, right? That same type brother will be the type brother that will become a police officer. Right. You see what I'm saying? And with him becoming a police officer, what will he do? He's going to blame those black people for his condition. Right. And what is he going to do when he's rolling in the car with that white cop, that white male or female cop? What is it when that's his partner? What is he going to do when they run across that black man on the damn street sagging his pants? They are going to go out and they're going to beat the piss out of him. You see what I'm saying? And guess who's going to be leading the charge with that? Carlton. All right. Carlton will be leading the charge with that just because that man sagging his goddamn pants. He ain't got even if he did have weed or marijuana on there, that's not a violent crime. That's not a crime that you can beat anybody up over, or because he got a blunt in his pocket, right? You see what I'm saying? Hell, even if he had dope, that's not a violent crime. But what will he do? He will think about that time, how he lost those girls to that thug dude, and how everybody said that he was acting white. And he'll think about the fact that he didn't quite make the cut in Wall Street, which he won't blame white people for. All right. He's going to blame black people for that because he feels like he's attached to black people. So his failure has to be their fault because, see, only that thug nigga that's sagging his pants is the man that's supposed to take accountability for anything. You see what I'm saying? All right. So what will he do? He will come out with that rage. That's why you see, that remember that thing, Cap, where the dude was, that cop was beating the hell out of that brother. The brother didn't even swing back or nothing, that black cop. Yeah, but he was firing off on that dude like he was goddamn Floyd Mayweather. Dude wasn't even firing back. He wasn't even swinging back, none of that. And the dude, you could tell the guy that he was beating up was probably a homeless man that was high on something. Right. And he was docile as can damn be. And this beast damn dude on this goddamn police force who was actually what they say that black people should be, was beating the hell out of this damn dude. He was getting all of his training that he hit on that punching bag. He was getting all of his goddamn training out and taking it all out on that brother who didn't do a goddamn thing to him. All right. You see what I'm saying? That's what that starts to teach black people. It teaches you to be a beast and a monster just like what the white man is. And there's another incident where that brother, that dude that was a failed cop that ended up in this was a couple of years ago. He ended up as a security guard and said that brother was supposed to be harassing some white woman, and all of a sudden he's out there going to blows with that brother, and the brother was obviously on drugs, but he was still giving that punk cop a good way to go as far as with them hands. Right. You know what I'm saying? And he's sitting there, and of course he eventually ended up getting out on the brother because hell, he trained 4 or 5 days a goddamn week. But that's what that starts to do to black people. That's what that starts to do. And that's what that same thing is there's a so-called successful Negro can't stand that black man. He can't stand him, the so-called thug, right? And if he sits there and fails in society, and he ends up from the divorce from that devil wife that he got, and she ends up taking half of whatever it is that he got, and he ends up finding himself back in the hood, he's not going to blame white society for that. He blames us. And he'll be the first Negro to call the police on you just because you peed behind a tree. You see what I'm saying? Doing the same damn thing that white people do. So how the hell are they supposed to be the damn upper echelon of us? They're not. They're the base people. You see what I'm saying? All right. Because what does the Most High do? He destroyed people in their pride, don't he? So, being the fact that the Most High's character is to destroy people in their pride, what causes them to hate black people is their pride. To hate that so-called thug. You see what I'm saying? And here's another thing too, because they say black men need to pull up their pants. They need to do this. They need to pull up their pants. So here's the thing. You got to give him a reason. Since you're so smart and you're so wise and you're so educated, give him a real reason to pull up his pants other than the hopes of getting a job, just like what your funky ass begs for. You see what I'm saying? Give him something stronger than that. He watches you bend over for white people, and so does your wife. So does your wife. Your wife watches you bend over for white people, right? In the name of so-called success. So that thug Negro and your wife are both looking down on you, but society tells them that this is success. So they're inside themselves, there's two things that are actually wrestling with one another. You see what I'm saying? Because you seem to be uphold the image of success, but at the same time, what are you doing for? You compromising your whole goddamn manhood. You see what I'm saying? They see you bend over, and they see, here's another thing too, they see the top of you. The ones that Cornel West and all of these other people, when they set up on this panel, and you know what only conclusion that they come up with? The only conclusion that they come up with to fix you is to beg white people for more money for schools. Damn. And that's the best of the best. These are the Yale educated. These are the creme de la creme of education. Why they say education is the key. And you so-called educated people view yourselves as being so much higher than the black people that are not educated or not as well educated as you, or the thug nigga, or whatever you want to call. You view yourself as being so much better than he is, when at your height, at your best, at the creme de la creme of you, the best you could do is beg another race. God damn. You know what I'm saying? Damn. Now you know why that thug says, to hell with this, I'd rather smoke weed. He's like, damn, is that my alternative right there? Either I do that, or I go to the Christian church and become a homo and a damn child molester, or either I just sat back and just studied. What decision is he going to make if he have a little bit of manhood sparked in him? He going to sit back and be like, the hell with that. Y'all niggas is on your own with that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to that goddamn Christian church. I don't want to be some office dude running around with a goddamn with a pink ribbon on because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. No, you know what I'm saying? You know what alternative? What are you presenting before him? What reason are you giving him to change? To be what you are? To be what your wife and children don't respect? And that's what you're offering him in place of the sagging pants? This is what people don't understand. If you're going to have somebody to give up something, you have to have something better in return to offer them. And you know who's the only people that can actually really do that for real? The only people that can actually really do that is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. That's why we can change the thug. And you can't. Because you ain't got shit to offer him. Other than a lifestyle of goddamn servitude and bending over. That's what you got. We got real manhood in replacement of his shell of a manhood. That's what we got to offer him. We got the vision of rulership. What do you got? You got the vision of servitude. Let me pull a scripture. I'm going to pull a different scripture than the one that I was going to pull. For without a vision, the people perish.
Right.
The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And one thing that you don't want to do, you don't want to get into following him. That's what you don't want to do. And that's what all shows was made to do, is to make us want to follow and be like white people. And if you want to follow and be like white people so bad, what you're going to do is you're going to hate black people. You can't love both sides. You can't. You can't love two opposing forces together. You go into the United States military, you're not talking about loving America and the Arabs. You're going to love one and hate the other. That's how things work. A man can't serve two masters. There we go. What's in there? You can go to Proverbs 29, chapter 29, verse 18. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18. Where there is no vision, the people perish. What vision are you so-called educated Negroes? What vision are y'all sitting there and putting before those brothers? Y'all not putting a real vision out there. You don't have a vision for them. And your vision, like I said before, your vision is a vision of servitude. It's going to only end up leading to them being in destruction. That's all it's eventually going to do. They're going to get destroyed. You see what I'm saying? Because, and then here's another thing too. Because I've been heard also another brother sit back and say, well, he was at least wise enough to understand that that so-called thug dude, right? That so-called thug dude is going to be, he's a soldier. A soldier without a cause, no doubt, but still, nevertheless, a soldier still, right? Which is the one good thing about him, he's a soldier. So, with him being a soldier, and this man understood that his role as a soldier, but what he said, a soldier can't, he said a soldier can't govern, it's not the governor. But guess what? Let me let you in on something. Let me let these people in on something. You are not either or. You're not a soldier, and you're not a governor. You see what I'm saying? Because both of them require one thing that they have in common. Both of those things, the soldier has to understand. He has to be about his own people. That's what a soldier does. He's diehard about his own. Now, of course, he's not might not be the governing body or whatever, but he plays out his role. Now, the governor, on the other hand, he's not the soldier. But what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to support that soldier. You see what I'm saying? And he, navigates and makes moves. And the things that both of those guys have in common is the fact that they both are about their people. And they're working together. You see what I'm saying? But what you Negroes want to do, you want to put it like the and there's a whole lot of you blacks that think that that know that you're an Israelite. You want to count the thug nigga as the 2/3. What you need to be doing is counting the people in your own circle as the 2/3. That's what you need to be doing. You see what I'm saying? Because the truth was raised up out of thug niggas from the street. That's what it was really raised up. The truth was made from thug niggas, came up from thug niggas, and a lot of those thug niggas eventually went on to become educated. So they understand both sides of the fence, the street side and the damn the so-called successful educated side. They have been on both. You see what I'm saying? This is one thing that we understand. We understand that when weighing it all in the balance, even as messed up as that thug nigga is, that thug nigga is still more righteous than you when you weigh it all in the balance, even though he's extremely messed up too. You see what I'm saying? He is somewhat better. He's better than you. Because, well, let me tell you the reason why. Because he knows that he's doing wrong. And the reason why he out there in the streets and he won't go into a church is because through his ignorance and through the teachings of the dumb Christian church, he think God is in there. And he know that he's doing wrong. You see what I'm saying? He knows that he's doing wrong and he think that God is in there. While the educated nigga, on the other hand, he's inside World Changers, the Potter's House. He's inside all of those places, right? At the same time, he thinks that he's doing right. He swears up and down that he's doing right. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference between the thug nigga and that so-called successful nigga. There's a scenario that also goes even further into that. As a matter of fact, I want to pull this scripture up real tough. Yes. Luke chapter 18 and verse 9. The white man's a devil that the Bible speaks of. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. Who is this today that think that they're righteous, but at the same time despise others? Who is this? This is the so-called educated Negroes. You see what I'm saying? The Pharisees were all educated. They were all the upper echelon of the nation of Israel, right? They were the Christian pastors. They were the Cornel Wesses. They were the high ups, you know, among our people. They were the Creflo Dollars. They were the T.D. Jakes. They were all of those type people, right? And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. Two men went up into the temple to pray. The one a Pharisee and the other a publican. Now, a publican, what was a publican at that time when we were a nation, when we was in Jerusalem? The publican was the tax collector. That's what Matthew was, right? The tax collector knew that he was wrong. You know what I'm saying? The tax collector, even though he worked for the Romans, just like the black drug dealer works for the Romans today, right? He worked for the Romans, you know, He knew that he was wrong because what would the publicans do? The publicans would go into a city. The Romans would set a certain tax upon the people of that city. Like say the tax was $1,000, right? The tax was $1,000. Now, what the publican would actually do, he would put his own tax on it. It would be $1,200, right? So he would catch the cut of the 200 on top of, like, say he got 10% of what was, of the tax that was given, which was his normal pay, right? So out of that $1,000, he would get 100 of that, but then he would put his own tax on top of that. And what would he do? He would make 300 and give Rome 900. You know what I'm saying? And he would go to different cities and keep this practice going. So the publicans, they lived pretty good. You know what I'm saying? So that means he caught his cut off oppressing his people, just like the drug dealing black man, just like the drug dealing dude that's sagging his pants and all of that, that's got the bag full of rocks, K2 or whatever the hell it is they're selling nowadays. He's catching his cut off his people also. You see what I'm saying? But then the Pharisees, on the other hand, they are even closer with the Romans. Because it wasn't the publicans that sat back and said, well, if we kill Christ, then if we don't kill Christ, then everybody believe on him and they'll come and throw us out of our place. It wasn't the publicans that said that. It was actually the Pharisees that said that. Who were deeper in league with Rome. You see what I'm saying? They were directly in league with Rome instead of indirectly. The publican, that was his occupation. That was his job, right? And a lot of them had a goddamn conscience. You know what I'm saying? Just like you hear, the drug dealer in a rap song saying, I know I'm doing wrong. You'll hear him say that many a goddamn time, but you won't hear these so-called successful niggas say that, I know that I'm doing wrong. Not unless he's cheating on his wife or something. Not unless he got him another wife. Then he'll say that he's doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? But he will not put it like he's wronging, anything that directly links to that black man that's sagging his goddamn pants. In reality, he's helping to destroy that man. Now, let me get back into the scriptures. Two men went up into the temple to pray. The one a Pharisee and the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. That said he prayed with himself, right? God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are. It said that he prayed thus with himself. Wait a minute. He prayed with himself. Now he prayed with himself. Now, what sets inside what set inside this man? What actually was setting inside this man was the goddamn philosophy of the Romans. Because the Romans were the ones that were in power at this time. And in his mind, as he's praying to God, as I said, that he prayed with himself, right? Prayed with himself, whom is like unto the Romans. Who is he really praying to? He really praying to white Jesus. Just like the Christian pastors and all that do. They do the same thing. They pray to white Jesus. That's why it said that he prayed with himself. God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners. Now, he said extort. He's not an extortioner, right? Which the publican was looked at as an extortioner. Because if you didn't pay that fine, that extra fee, right? That was something that was docked against you. And there was a level of repercussions that came behind that. So when the publican put his fee, his tax on that, you had to pay it. You see what I'm saying? Which also is extortion. But the Pharisees said, I'm not extortioner. I'm not like that nigga over there. When in reality, he is extortion. You see what I'm saying? And the same people that are goddamn destroying his own people. And they are doing what? Extorting the cities. That's who the publicans were working for. They were extorting the cities, and he's in league and in agreement with them. So what the hell does that make him? If you associated with robbers, even though you ain't knocked nobody over the head or breaking in their house, what are you? You're a robber. That's what you are. I don't give a damn if you just drove the getaway car. You're a robber too. You're an accomplice. So if you're an accomplice to an extortioner, what are you? You're an extortioner. But this man leads a prayer saying, I am not as other men are. Extortioners. Unjust. He couldn't even see the fact that he was unjust. You see what I'm saying? He couldn't see what does it mean to be unjust, means a man that does not care for justice. He is unjust because when the Romans send down their legions and their armies to beat black people over the head, what does he say to himself? He says they deserve that, even though whatever punishment that they were actually doing did not fit the crime that they were getting stabbed and beat over, it didn't meet the crime. So that shows that that man is unjust because he doesn't have a sense of justice. He's way worse than that man that was a publican that went and ended up praying and supplicating for his own sins. He's way worse than him. You see what I'm saying? Because, and he's actually, what he's actually spewing out is his own abominations. I'm not an extortioner. I'm not unjust. Now, we've seen how he's actually both of these things. Adulterers. What does that mean to adultery? Adultery don't just mean that you're sleeping with somebody else's woman. That's not the only definition of adultery. Adultery is also a covenant breaker. Because if you are making a covenant with Rome, then who are you breaking a covenant with when the Most High told you not to make a covenant with them nor to seek their peace? But you did it anyway, huh? So that makes you adulterers. And he said he was not these things. You see what I'm saying? Or even as this publican, as this thug, this nigga. That's the way he's actually looking at it. He's like, I'm not as him. But in reality, these so-called successful niggas are 10 times worse than that brother that's out there sagging his goddamn pants. You 10 times worse. Let me tell you another goddamn thing. As far as when he said adulterers, let me bring this into today's time. Right? He said he's not an adulterer, right? Now fast forward this into today. You're an adulterer because one thing you sitting there taking, you figure that you know that a lot of women that have these good jobs, she might be a male woman, she might be this and she might be that. And she is screwing some dude that you perceive as being a thug and not on your goddamn level. And how does that make you feel? That's why you got all of these so-called successful black men, that are sitting there talking about the thug. They're talking like thug men are taking all of our women. Thug men are doing it, and all the women want the thug. Something is way more wrong with you than it is that thug because you are covetous, and the Bible says for a man not to covet anything that another goddamn man has. You see what I'm saying? That thug, if that's his, what you would do is because what you say is, yeah, the women, they just want the thug man. Well, maybe it's the fact that she might see something with that thug, that street man, that she doesn't see with you, right? She sees because as far as with attraction, right? Women cannot help but be attracted to what they perceive as an alpha male. And this it is also in species of animals, right? When you are in that damn office wearing a pink button up, right? With one of the ribbon, Breast Cancer Awareness Month ribbon, and you got a fade, clean shave, you do every damn thing and compromise yourself in every damn way that white people demand of you. Now you can understand why she's really not, she doesn't get wet. You see what I'm saying? That thug black man, even though she hates him just like she hates you, but at the same time, her inner workings yearn for an attraction to him. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. You act like you don't understand it, but it's awfully funny because people understood this during the time of all the gangsters, Al Capone and all of them. The gangsters were never at a shortage of women. You see what I'm saying? Because they saw that inside those men. Even though those men were damn outcasts in society, they was wrong and they was such and such and such and such. You, on the other hand, think that you're going to be like some halfway homosexual, Christian pastor and act like this woman's going to maintain an attraction, that physical attraction for you as what she has for that thug man. You got another goddamn thing coming. You see what I'm saying? You have another thing coming. And what you are like I said, you are worse than what he is, because it's always funny because you got all of these blogs and all of this stuff going on, with the so-called successful black people, and always the topic is how women love the thugs. But it's always funny because the thugs are not making videos about you. You know what I'm saying? He partially believes in your philosophy. That's why he's not making videos about you. He partially believes in your philosophy because he will even check another black man and be like, man, I plan on, going, I understand, that brother, he going to school, you know what I'm saying? He get ready to do this and he get ready to do that. He get ready to, actually be something, even though he don't see that for himself. You see what I'm saying? He figured he's just going to be a gangster. You know what I'm saying? He figured that's all he's really cut for. But he can appreciate that man that's on the other side. While y'all sit there and act like that street black man keep coming up against y'all and hating on y'all all the goddamn time. Sometimes, even the times when they do hate on you, it can be justified because the Bible says to charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded. What's the first goddamn thing to come to what happened to you when you get that so-called good job or that education? Your dumb ass become high-minded, and he is supposed to check you. You see what I'm saying? This also shows that we have less strength than what we had back in the past, because during the 80s, you see a nigga that was going to college, and all of that. It was embedded in you to check that man's blackness. You know what I'm saying? Because in his mind, he understood the whole concept of the crossover, and the fact that you would want to be white, and the fact that you would start to hate black people as much as they do, and he know that, and he's checking you on that, and you don't even consider to yourself that could be of the Lord. You see what I'm saying? The Bible says charge them that are rich in this society. That doesn't mean you economically being, you know what I'm saying, you make six figures. That doesn't necessarily mean that. But you are embraced by the society that's actually ruling over him. And the bulk of your people, and all of your people, not just the bulk, but all of your people damn near. You know what I'm saying? He's more right for checking you than what you are for trying to rebut him for checking you. Yeah. I know you probably never heard that shit before, but it's true. He is more righteous for checking you because he's actually doing what the Bible said. The Bible said, charge them that are rich. He did that. You see what I'm saying? Even though he might not ever cracked open the Bible a day in his life. You see what I'm saying? He might not ever cracked open a Bible a day in his life, but it was still in him to even know that much. You see what I'm saying? Not saying that all, brothers that do that intentions are good, but at the same time, even if his intentions are bad, you should sit there and scope yourself out instead of just looking at him as he's hating on you for your so-called goddamn success. Because that's the same nigga that you're going to be looking at when they throw your dumb ass down. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you're going to be looking at him. You know what I'm saying? Or even as this publican, I fast twice in a week, right? I fast twice in a week. Well, you say, I'm a vegan. I'm a vegetarian. I fast twice a week. I'm better than I don't eat meat. You see what I'm saying? That's what he's saying within himself. I fast, I do everything I do breathing. I do exercise. I do this and I do that, and I maintain a good career. So this makes me better than him, than that guy. I give tithes of all that I possess. Say, I give tithes to all, but at the same time, you're not giving your tithes to the ISUPK. You sending your tithes because you think that you're so damn righteous, and just because your Christian pastor has more money than you figure that you should be blessing and giving him your money also, contributing, because you're looking at him as a goddamn stock that's going up, not discerning the fact that he's actually a stock that is going to hit the goddamn ground. As a matter of fact, he's gonna hit so low to the ground that he's gonna have to look up just to see the bottom of the soles of his goddamn feet. And you're investing in that. Talking about you pay tithes of all, huh? Yeah. You ain't even searched out what you're supposed to be paying your goddamn tithes to. You just looking at the glitz and the glamour and his goddamn Rolex and his suit, smelling his cologne and looking at his clean barbershop cut that he gets every goddamn week, and all of the congregation and all the people that's crying and and getting emotional when you preach. And you think that my tithes must go there. While at the same goddamn time, the thug niggas that's out there in the street that's actually really trying to gather this nation together, that's speaking to brothers, and we don't even have to tell the black man to pull up his goddamn pants. We don't even have to do that. All we have to do, then you want black men to pull up his goddamn pants, this is what you do. You don't sit there and say, pull up your goddamn pants, pull up, because what you're actually going to do is what you're doing when you do that, you actually are belittling that brother and you viewing yourself over that brother, just like this punk-ass Pharisee is doing with this publican. You see what I'm saying? Because for one thing, you went up to you and said, take off that goddamn pink shirt, that pink ass button up, take that goddamn thing off. You are going to want to, wait a minute, hold up, or you going to sit there and feel some kind of way. But since you view that brother as being so far beneath you, you should tell him, pull your goddamn pants up, coming at him in a way that you wouldn't want nobody to come at your dumb ass. And like he's supposed to just drop his head and just go ahead and do it just because your little funky ass that ain't no better than him said for him to do. If you want black men to pull up their goddamn pants, you do. You give him his vision. Because as the scriptures say, without a vision, the people perish. You give him his goddamn vision. You tell him who the hell he is. You tell him his importance. You won't have to tell him to pull up his goddamn pants. He'll do it on his own. You see what I'm saying? Instead of him, you trying to bully the brother, you trying to bully him and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And to pull up his goddamn pants without even giving him his goddamn purpose. You tell him to pull up his pants so the white people can accept him. Or either put it on like they accept him, or so he can get a job at McDonald's. You tell him to pull up his pants for that. You're not giving him a goddamn purpose. You're not giving him his God-given purpose, because if you give him his God-given purpose, you ain't even got to look at his goddamn sagging pants. I ain't never seen where, when you see Jesus going through, Jesus say, lace up your goddamn sandals. I ain't never seen that. You know what I'm saying? Put the mitra on your head. I ain't never seen Jesus even come like that. You know what I'm saying? Jesus always saw the deeper matters of things. And he addressed the core. And once the core was addressed and being fixed, then the outside followed, you goddamn idiots that don't know how to teach nothing. You see what I'm saying? You want to learn something, look at how Christ rolled. I ain't never seen Christ say, do this, just do that. And make it like that's the whole of the matter. You know what I'm saying? No, that wasn't what he did. He addressed the goddamn core of the matter. You see what I'm saying? That's what he goddamn did. He didn't even check, but when the Pharisees brought the goddamn woman, when they brought the woman that was in adultery, he didn't even particularly just call out their stuff. He just said simply, the one that they without sin cast the first stone. And they checked their goddamn selves. Oh, damn. Hell, some of them probably was with that goddamn woman. You know what I'm saying? And they had to go on away, but whatever, what he said brought so much shame to them, like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's the same thing, though. Same thing. Give that man a reason to pull up his pants. Instead of talking about black men need to just pull their pants up, you sound like Barack Obama and just like all the black Christian women, and she's not even discerning the goddamn fact that her daughters is running around sagging they goddamn pants, and she ain't saying shit. White man's the devil that the Bible speaks of. Don't follow his goddamn philosophy. What you need to start doing is look inside your goddamn self and see if you're following his ways. You see what I'm saying? Because if you look deep down inside these so-called successful Negroes, you'll find out that you're following his goddamn ways. You see what I'm saying? You even hate the way that black people talk. If black people talk like, they talk like one of the, rappers. His dialect is kind of like Gucci Mane's or whatever, right? You putting it as if that's morally wrong, and it's not morally wrong. You are more morally wrong than what the hell he is. You are morally wrong because you're trying to talk like the people that are killing your goddamn people, and you are putting yourself like you're one of them. You're taking on a whole goddamn mindset as if you're one of them. When the Bible says, envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Now, when you run around, you want to start talking like, like you one of them, you're doing what the Lord told you not to do. While him, on the other hand, that's talking like Gucci Man or whatever, he's not doing that because at least he's talking like his goddamn people. You ain't. You talking like another goddamn people, the people that you worship, which the scriptures also say thou shalt have no other gods before me. And you talking and acting like them and doing every damn thing that pleases to them, that means they're a god unto you. You breaking the first commandment while you set your nasty ass up in that Christian church or up in that goddamn office building, right? You setting your ass up in there, goddamn righteous. You full of shit. Now, go to Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 21. Marvel not at the works of sinners. This is one of the reasons why you take on that same damn mentality to go against that street black man. Because you marvel at sinners. You think, damn, look at all, look at success. Look at what all they got. This is why we don't even have a goddamn moral compass when it comes to rich black people. This is why you got so many of these stupid, dumb black people that are so-called view themselves as being somewhat successful, and they crying behind Bill Cosby, who was giving drugs, now not selling drugs, but giving drugs to women so that he could have sex with them. But at the same time, he spoke against the drug dealer that's selling drugs to pay his bills. Tell me who was more morally wrong. The drug dealer, the street nigga, that street dude with his pants sagging that's out there selling the drugs so that he can have money in his pocket. He doesn't have a job. He needs a place to stay. He needs clothes. He needs the bare necessities of life. But then you have Bill Cosby, who is filthy rich, Mr. Picture Pages, Mr. Pudding Pop, Mr. Huxtable, who has all of this money, but is buying drugs so that he can give drugs to women he want to have sex with, while speaking against the drug dealer that's selling drugs. Have a moral compass. See how you so-called successful blacks don't have a moral compass? You see that? See how you don't have any moral understanding? And that street brother that's out there in them goddamn streets is going to have more of a moral understanding than you do. You see what I'm saying? Because being the fact that he sells drugs himself and knows that he's doing wrong, he knows that Bill Cosby was doing wrong behind buying drugs and giving them away. You see what I'm saying? He can understand that. But you, on the other hand, that street black man is just being wrong just because he talked a certain way and he, carries himself, with a certain swagger or whatever the case is. You figure he's wrong all because of that, which that is not morally wrong. It's not wrong for him to say ask instead of ask. That's not wrong. It's not morally wrong. There's nothing immoral about that. It's nothing immoral about him saying, let me ask you a question, instead of him saying, let me ask you a question. There's nothing morally wrong with that. You see what I'm saying? But what is morally wrong is Bill Cosby, who viewed himself as being someone that speaks proper, that handles himself in a proper fashion, which really a fashion that white people like, is what he's priding himself on. But he sat there, got all of them drugs, all of them pills, you know what I'm saying? Even though he's talking bad about the brother out there that's selling pills, but he's buying pills his goddamn self to drug up women so that he can have sex with them. And you're crying for him, but you're not crying for that brother that got locked up, that only had a goddamn blunt roach. You're saying, putting it like he deserved what he got. But Bill, on the other hand, since he's rich, and he seemingly epitomizes what a good black man is supposed to be, even though he's doing all of this goddamn evil, you are in support of him. You have no goddamn moral compass, you successful, educated, I don't even know you, I want to call you something real bad, you know what I'm saying, but I can't say it on camera right now. You are way more, your moral compass has been thrown in the goddamn garbage can. You're pathetic. That's what you are. You are a goddamn slimy piece of puke. Why you think you're something so goddamn great? You're nothing. And when the Most High gives power to his people, those same people, he's going to rise up and you're going to go to being nothing. You see what I'm saying? That's what the Most High always does. He raises up the basis of people and puts them on the top. That's why the white man is on top of you right now. The white man is not the most greatest man, he was the least man. He was at the goddamn bottom. The man that grow hair every goddamn where, you know what I'm saying? He was at the goddamn, he smells like a dog, packs lice, and that's who the Most High put over you. So how much more so do you think that he will take that thug black man that's in that goddamn, that's out there in them streets, right? Give that man a moral compass and put him over you. You keep on playing around, what you're going to actually be doing, you're going to be sweeping the goddamn floors. You are going to be sweeping that street thug black man's floors is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be begging him for a crumb. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be deciding whether you eat or not. You keep on playing around. And watch. You'll see this world turn right side up before your very own eyes. Marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor. You stay in that work. Whatever it is that you do, stay in it. And you know what? Let me tell you one thing. That thug black man, he's going to be more able to stay inside the work because he knows what the work is. He will, that thug black man, that gangster black man will get inside his truth and he'll be at camp every weekend. You see what I'm saying? He'll get inside the ISUPK, he'll be at camp anytime that he's bidden to be at camp. Right? Do every damn thing to consistently do what it is that it takes, while you, on the other hand, will sit there and see us, and be like, I understand, I see what you're doing and all, and but that's not something that I really want to be a part of. You'll do that. You see what I'm saying? That's what you'll do. And you'll take your nasty ass right back into that Christian church. You see what I'm saying? With your goddamn sheriff's badge on, right? And use your little authority to be trying to screw some blue collar man's wife. You'll be a cop. You know what I'm saying? A Christian pastor, some man that's in a position of authority. And don't let that poor thug black man decide, that he, have to try and redeem himself and then go up inside your church. And he has a fair looking woman, a fair looking girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? And he comes inside there, and then you, who is a goddamn cop, who is also a deacon inside that church, comes up to him and says, "Hey, brother, how you doing, brother?" And shakes his hand. Oh, hell. And you see his girl, and you see that she's nice looking, she's fair, you are going to be way more likely to try and do something to that brother so that you can get his goddamn woman. Or don't let you try and come at her, trying to holler at her and her be halfway receptive of you hollering at her, and y'all end up exchanging numbers, have some conversations or whatever. She see your power as a cop, and then she sit there and get snapped to herself. Be like, well, I know he's a thug and everything, but I know that he, but I love him and such and such. You're gonna be enraged. You're gonna be enraged to the point to where you're gonna want to do something to that brother. You see what I'm saying? And you're gonna figure that you also have the power to do so, just because of the position that you was given in this goddamn kingdom. You know what I'm saying? You see how slimy you so-called successful niggas are? You niggas are goddamn slimy. You pieces of shit. And what the hell have you ever did for black people other than you niggas can't even come together yourselves? All of you educated, Yale, Harvard educated niggas, you can't come together to do nothing. You are afraid to even be with each other because y'all know that y'all gonna piss off white people. Because let me put you in on something. House niggas didn't have when house niggas come together, there had to be white people among them. You see what I'm saying? To make sure that they're not planning nothing of themselves. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, every damn thing that y'all try and do, and y'all knowing this, and this being in y'all soul, any black that's in y'all's little group that even acts like that he wants to get a little bit militant about something, you willing to go ahead and throw him under the bus and turn him in. You see what I'm saying? You so-called educated Negroes, y'all cannot stick together for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Hell, to split up goddamn street gangster, you gotta be offering them 25 to life. Or he has to have the possibility of having a large amount of money or something. You niggas is turn each other away, turn each other in just to keep your little jobs. You know what I'm saying? You will get on that job and you will fire other black people. You will become they'll make you a supervisor or manager or something like that with your little degrees, They'll make you a supervisor or a manager. You thinking you got that because, you're so smart. And you got these degrees, you put in that work, you put in that time. No, because what they saw about you was they saw your conditioning from you being in college and all of that. They see that you value their society more than yours. So now they trust to make you a manager because now they can sit there and have you to fire black men that are up under you. You see what I'm saying? So that the company doesn't look like racist. They're not going to look like racist if you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? So they will put your black ass in that position so that you can get rid of, when it's time for laying people off in that company, they're going to have you doing the dirty work. You are going to have to lay off 3 blacks per every 1 white. And then also, too, when it comes to calling those blacks, those layoffs back, of course, you're going to start with the whites first and call them back. You see what I'm saying? And then, like, say, for instance, you call one of those 3 blacks back, right? Call the 1 white, 1 black. So with the ratio being, 3 blacks per 1 white, that's 2 blacks without a job. Multiply that however you like, and you get my point. That's what your successful job is. You see what I'm saying? You want to be successful, Get inside the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge and learn how to actually be successful and be right with it. Get counsel on things. You see what I'm saying? Learn how to actually really be successful. Learn how to have that goddamn office job and not hate your people at the same time. And to be able to love your people above all, like what you're supposed to goddamn do. You see what I'm saying? You read the stories of Joseph and Moses and people like Daniel and people like that, and you still don't get it. You don't understand. Right? And there's a lot of you Negroes that are in these fake Israelite groups also, or you dudes that know that you're Israel, that have some type of live blog or whatever the hell you call it, and you still pushing the goddamn image of the beast, even with you being in that knowledge. You see what I'm saying? You brothers are slimy as hell. Also, you teaching since the black woman wants to thug, you ain't giving a damn about how, the black woman is, loving the goddamn white man. You're not thinking about that. You're thinking about her loving that thug. That thug who is the same goddamn race as you. You thinking about her loving that. You know what I'm saying? About her loving that dude. But you ain't thinking about that one. You ain't thinking about how much she loved your goddamn enemy. You know what I'm saying? While you sitting there knowing that you an Israelite. You're not trying to deal with that. But instead, you sitting there whipping up some type of goddamn movement that's turning black men, calling the thug black man the goddamn 2/3, like you the one that's gonna goddamn be saved. Well, what you gonna do is you gonna wake up to a goddamn rude awakening, and he gonna be saved and your dumb ass ain't. That's what's gonna end up happening, in a lot of cases. You know what I'm saying? Take heed, there's a scripture that say, take heed while you stand, unless you fall. And the way you niggas is going, your ass gonna fall. Yeah, let me go to a 9-year-old girl. Now think about this for a second. That 9-year-old girl that decided she did not want to stand for the national anthem or the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever. That was very noble of her. You know what I'm saying? That was very noble of that little girl. Because this society and all of you educated, now think about this for a second. Now, her not standing for that Pledge Allegiance and all of that, standing and pledging allegiance, that was a very strong show of faith right there. And that is a damn identifier that we should be having our own schools. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be singing the national anthem and pledging allegiance to the flag and all of that garbage. We should be having our own school. Now think about this for a second. Let me tell you what street niggas done did. Let's put street nigga versus successful nigga, right? So-called successful black men have not come together to build one school since civil rights. We're going to go from the 1960s to today. How many have built schools or even, have made motions to get their children up out of these schools because they've seen how bad things was getting ready to head in the future, right? How many of them were actually being prudent in that matter? None. You see what I'm saying? But let me tell you the street niggas that were. The street niggas that were the street niggas in the ISUPK, who has schools set up all over America, and we're not sitting at the top of the damn upper echelon of education begging white people for money. You see what I'm saying? That's one thing we've never done. We've never done that. We've been around since 1969, and we have never begged the white man for money to start a goddamn school. This school was funded right here that I'm sitting in right now, was funded by a street nigga. You see what I'm saying? A street nigga with minimal resources formed this thing that we watching right now, and this has been a fully functioning school, which we're getting ready to make a better school, because we're going to leave. This is left right here. We're going to have a better school than even this. And you know what it's built by? It's going to be built by street black men. You see what I'm saying? What you call a thug. That's what it's going to be built by. Sleep on street niggas if you want to. Do that if you want to. You're going to see that we set up all over the goddamn country with schools, fully functioning schools all over the country. You see what I'm saying? The white man is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. We should never have to go to him to fund our own schools, to educate our own goddamn children. Your children being educated by them and winding up homosexual. Your daughters is winding up lesbians. You see what I'm saying? You having to go back to school to get 3, 4 damn degrees after that. How stupid can you be? You done went and got 2 degrees. And then you find out you can't get a job in those degrees. Now you got to go and try and get another degree and something else. Take out another loan so you can buy more books and you can do more stuff. And you sit there stacking up debt the whole goddamn time and boasting yourself in education when your stupid ass lacks any common sense. 10 years down the goddamn line, you so far and drowning in goddamn debt. You know what I'm saying? That you drowning in debt so goddamn bad, you laying right next to catfish. You that goddamn deep in the river of debt. And you consider yourself smart and wise and educated. You're goddamn dumb. If you want to be educated, what you actually do is you get inside the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. That's what you do. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, we have the ISUPK coming out of 1 West on the 25th Street, Harlem, Manager Hana. Pay your tithes, pay your offerings, help support this truth, support the men that are out there on the corners actually fighting for you, the men that are actually out there really pushing real education, the education that you should have, because how the hell are you going to sit there and push the education of another goddamn race without knowing who the hell you are and what your value system and your education is supposed to be? How smart is that for you so-called educated people? With that being said, Shalom.